Hello, everyone. My name is Sade Walker, and I will be doing my presentation today on William Hogarth's Marriage a la Mode. It is a six-series painting that was created between the years of 1743 and 1745. William Hogarth was an 18th century artist whose work was witty and intriguing to his audience at the same time. He had a really big following. Some liked him, some didn't. He created different types of work throughout the years, from portraits to comic strip pictures as well. To sum up the Marriage a la Mode, it's a series that's broken up into six different paintings, which represents the upper class society during the 18th century. It mostly shows the unhappiness in their marriages and in their relationships amongst one another. Scene one of this series takes place in a mansion. The mansion belongs to the Earl, who is getting ready for the wedding of his son. His son is actually going to be marrying the daughter of a wealthy cityman. The scene is called the marriage settlement. In this scene, you will see some type of transaction or settlement, as it's called, taking place. You see the bride is sitting behind her father while the Earl's son admires himself and isn't really pretty much paying her any attention. Scene two of the series shows the marriage becoming a bit of a disaster. You see the wife in some type of discomfort. The newlyweds show no interest in one another. They aren't really engaging in one another. They're kind of just in their own worlds, is what he's trying to portray here. There are a few signs throughout this piece that show that there is some type of disorder. Um, in the home and in the relationship. You see that the steward is kind of exiting the room in such a frenzy. The chair is knocked over. It's just stuff everywhere and unorganized. In scene three, which is titled The Inspection, you see the husband, who is actually the Viscount. That's the name of the Earl's son. He's pictured with his entitled mistress, who seems to be a child. You notice that there's a black spot on his neck. Some actually thought that was a mistake, but it wasn't. Apparently, the Viscount has some form of venereal disease, which has caused him to have the black spots on his neck. The way that this is symbolized in the painting is by him reaching over to the nurse with what seems to be some form of medication to heal that disease. Scene four, we see that the old Earl has died and the son is now the new Earl. His wife is now the Countess. And the terms Earl and Countess are pretty much defined as British noblemen. They're ranked below the Marquis but above the Viscount, pretty much. In this scene, you see that the Countess is being groomed, which is a morning routine. The title of this scene is actually called the towelette, which means grooming. Some have viewed this scene as inappropriate. This is normally an intimate time that should be alone, not with a lot of people around in the room. Scene five is titled the Bagnio, which is where this piece is located. This term is actually used to describe a coffee house, and while there, you were offered a Turkish bath. In the 1740s, you were actually able to rent out a room for the night, kind of like a hotel. In this scene, you see the Countess and the lawyer, who's actually from scene one during the marriage. They have gotten a room, and you see that they're actually lovers. The Earl has followed them, and he's now wounded. The Countess is pretty much begging for his forgiveness because he is now aware that she has another lover. In scene six, it's titled The Lady's Death. It's the final scene and it takes place back at the Countess's father's home. It appears that she and the lawyer, again, they were in love, and she's very distraught when she finds out that he's been killed. You can see that the newspaper article is below her foot in this piece. She has taken some type of poison to die when she finds out that the lawyer has been hung due to the killing of the Earl. He was kind of framed for that, and you see her daughter cradling her as her father removes her wedding ring as she dies peacefully, unfortunately. It's kind of sad. So, what does a la mode mean? A la mode means something that is fashionable but not enduring to the eye. What that pretty much means about this series is that it's a picture perfect marriage, but a travesty in reality, and that is what William wanted to portray in this series as a whole, the reality of this lifestyle. As the pictures were released throughout the years, they were actually perceived in a very negative way. A lot of people in the public were greatly disappointed in what was being portrayed of this culture, and the regalness of this lifestyle that ones looked up to was portrayed negatively in this art piece. William died on October 26, 1764, in London. He was a great influence to many other artists to come, such as John Collier. He married the daughter of Sir James Thornhill, who was actually an English painter, in 1729. His home is now known as the Hogarth's house, which is actually a museum. In the 18th and 19th centuries, many of his prints were going around the town. Majority of them were fake and influenced the Continental book illustrations. He is also known as the main influence for caricatures, which is something that we still do today at fairs and zoos and all of those fun places. Overall, this series that was insulting to some but great to others made history. It shows the reality of what art really is. It expresses the truth and influences others to create and not be afraid to make a difference. Thanks for looking at my presentation, and I hope you enjoyed and learned something new.